Sorry. Yeah. Hi, I'm Niat. I am just an introduction again for those of y'all who don't know me, but I'm a MoCel Psych double major. I'm a senior. I have a lot of interests, so we're gonna figure out what I'm gonna do later on in life. I'm interested in like stuff related to mental health, public health, advocacy, um, essentially like everything. So I'm gonna let the next person go.
Okay. Tempest?
Hi guys, I'm Tempest. I'm the vice president, also a senior. I'm majoring in molecular and cellular biology with a minor in psych. And as far as specialties that I'm interested in, I like OB-GYN, pediatrics, or cardiology.
Is Armand on here?
Nah, because it's 4:30 a.m. over there for him.
Okay, so our finance chair is Armand. He is a class of 22. Is that a sophomore? I have no idea. Oh, okay. He is a MoCel bio major, and I guess he's a double major in MoCel bio and chemistry. And his future aspiration is to be a thoracic surgeon. Chioma, is Chioma on here?
Yeah, I'm on here. Hi everyone, I'm Shoma and class of 2021, and I'm a computer science major with a minor in entrepreneurship management. I'm really interested in starting a company, biotech, but I think I've also realized that I'm also interested in healthcare policy. So that is another one of my aspirations.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Ariana?
Hi guys, I'm Ariana. I'm a sophomore. I am a political science major and psychology minor, and in the future, I hope to do something with either health law or immigration law.
Monica?
Hi guys, my name is Monica. I am a senior public health major and French minor. My interests are currently like family and reproductive health as well as global health, and I'm leaning towards like OB/GYN, but yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out.
Brittany?
Hi guys, I'm Brittany. I'm the publicity chair of SNMA Maps, and I'm a sophomore majoring in public health studies and psychology. All my interests are definitely not on here because I also am not completely sure what I want to do, but a few of them are like school psychology, psychiatric epidemiology, or just something that relates public health to mental health.
Evan?
Hi everyone, I'm Fevin. I'm a sophomore. I'm studying molecular and cellular biology as well as public health. And I also have a lot of interests, mainly public health, as well as pediatrics and studying like disparities in healthcare.
Jade?
Hi everyone, my name is Jade Zola. I'm a senior majoring in molecular and cellular biology, and I'm also a psych minor. I'm interested in a lot of different things, and I'm hoping that I could somehow tie these different things together, such as child and adolescent mental health, healthcare management, and healthcare policy. And I'm sort of interested in going into psychiatry in the future.
Iyad?
Hey everyone, my name is Iyad. I'm one of the two freshman representatives. My majoring in public health, minoring in psych, and my future aspirations or interests are child and adolescent psychiatry and then different pediatric specialties.
And then Faith.
Hi everyone, I'm the other freshman representative. I'm a freshman obviously, and I'm double majoring between MoCel and medicine, science, and humanities. And my future aspirations are still up in the air, but I'm really interested in going to pharmacy school and maybe becoming a pharmacologist.
Okay, so I just wanted to talk about what SNMA Maps is, who we are, why we exist, because I know it can be sometimes confusing. So in medical schools across the country, there's this organization called SNMA, which stands for Student National Medical Association, which is a community of underrepresented medical students who strive to support minority medical students and address the needs of underserved populations. To increase the number of culturally competent and socially conscious physicians. And they have an undergraduate form. So basically, they mentor an undergraduate organization called MAPS. So undergrads all over the country have MAPS chapters. We are Hopkins MAPS chapter, which stands for Minority Association for Pre-Medical Students. It is a pipeline program that aims to encourage and provide undergraduate students with support they need to matriculate into medical school, and just provide them with mentors, resources, panels, anything that you would need really to enhance your experience toward getting into medical school. So I wanted to present a tentative schedule. We're really excited and we have a lot of ideas that we are hoping to implement. And I just want you all to be able to mark it in your calendars so you guys can clear your schedule in the future for these events. So you're obviously here, so you knew about our first event, which was Get to Know Maps. Plus, we're going to have a discussion about pre-med life afterwards. We have a What I Wish I Knew Before Taking the MCAT, plus very exciting an MCAT book giveaway. So if you guys come, we're gonna do a like randomly select people to win a Kaplan book set, an exam crackers, and a next step book set. So we have 3, and so we're gonna raffle off those 3 to 3 lucky winners. So don't miss it. It's March 6th at 4 p.m. Then we're gonna do a personal statement workshop with the Student National Medical Association at Hopkins. So they're going to lead that. And so that's going to be March 18th. And then we are hoping to have a collaboration with BSU, which is going to be a Black Professionals in Medicine panel. Right now, the date is TBD, but it's probably going to be around March 20th, I want to say. But we're hoping to get health professionals from all different specialties. So definitely check that out because I think that's going to be really exciting. And then we have AMEC. So we're going to talk about this later, but if you guys are still interested in going to AMEC, which is the annual medical education conference, it's an amazing experience to network with deans of medical schools, to participate in different skills workshops, and to hear really great keynote speakers, and just to be around like people of color, physicians of color who are doing amazing things. So definitely check that out. We have an interest form at the end, and that's going to be from April 1st to April 4th. The conference is remote this year. So that should alleviate a lot of stress. And then on April 10th, we're going to do an AMAC recap. So if you're unable to go, definitely go to the recap so we're all going to share about our experience from the conference, sorry. And then we have a suturing workshop. That's TBD, but that's going to be really great. And we're going to ask people to sign up in a few weeks because we're going to be mailing you suturing kits. And then we're going to have 2 or 4 med students lead the sessions. We're going to split you guys up into breakout rooms and then we're going to have them lead the sessions. So I think that's going to be really exciting. And then we have a mental health series. And that's going to start off with empathetic listening in collaboration with A Place to Talk. And then we're going to have a mental health panel on April 20th at 8 p.m. And that's really exciting. Usually we try to get great speakers to come to really help foster dialogues about mental health, especially in communities of color, which sometimes can be difficult to foster. So active membership. So to vote in executive committee elections and to be a committee leader, we are requiring 30% attendance, and we're requiring 40% attendance for running for executive board for 2021 to 2022. How do you know if you're an active member? You can go to campus groups and it will show if you're an active member. And to maintain active membership, we ask that you come to at least 4 events per semester. And these can be any events. It's not limited, just come to 4. But the more events, the better. And we're trying to make events that are things that you really want to come to and you're interested in. So hopefully you like the events that we have and you're inspired to come to them all. So now we want to talk about committees, which is a new thing we're starting this year. So our first committee is going to be social media. Generally, we created committees because we want opportunity for our members to be more involved in our executive board, and we want to give you guys an opportunity to like make your own product and to, for instance, for the social media committee, wanted you guys to have the opportunity to create infographic content for our Instagram, Facebook, and on our website, to update our information found on social media and to coordinate Instagram takeovers. So it's a really great opportunity to get your product out there, to learn how to create graphics, and to learn a lot about health promotion and health education. So yeah. And then we have community outreach / volunteering. So what we want to do is do virtual fundraisers either through social media and any other way we can, honestly, and fundraise for medicine or Baltimore related organizations like nonprofits or healthcare organizations in Baltimore, supporting URM, creating initiatives and compiling resources for URM students at JHU, which is definitely like a really big interest of ours because we want to make sure we're supporting our URM students here as much as possible, and advocacy, coordinating advocacy work in Baltimore and the JHU community. So we also have the conference committee, which we're really excited about. We want to establish a one-day conference at Hopkins so that people who don't have the opportunity to attend AMAC can still have a conference to go to and experiences that they can gain, because AMAC usually is in person and it sometimes is far. So we understand that not everyone has the opportunity to just pick up and go. So we really want to have a conference here at Hopkins where we can invite medical professionals to come and speak and provide opportunities for skills workshops and networking. So it would be in collaboration with Region 6, which is the Washington, Virginia, DC area, I believe. And it's going to be on what it means to be pre-med, applying to medical school, and the physician journey. We really want to get you guys access to talking to physicians of color so that you can understand the experience of being a physician of color, basically, because it's definitely different from the average physician's experience. And yeah, and we also want to expose you guys to different healthcare professions because there are definitely different subspecialties, different areas of healthcare that are beyond being a physician or being a specialized physician. So we want to expose you guys to that as much as possible. We have the newsletter, journal, magazine committee, which creates a monthly newsletter and or semesterly digital magazine. Writers can include work, op-ed pieces about healthcare issues, undergrad, pre-med life, health topics you're passionate about, COVID-19, student or healthcare professional profiles, public health, med school admissions, literally anything. Like if you're really interested in writing, we definitely recommend this. And if you have any interest in writing about healthcare in this country or anything really related to that, we definitely recommend you join this committee because I feel like students here have a lot of stories and we would love to be spreading those stories to as many people as possible. We're inviting artists, creators to include their work in the magazine, and you could also report on the latest medical news. Member feedback committee. Ideally, we would want this committee to be composed of active members to provide personal feedback on events because we want to make sure that we're providing the best events as possible. And we want to increase the surveys we send out in the form so that we can gauge how you guys are feeling about our GBMs and what you guys want us to change. So if you are interested in committees, this is a form. You can scan this QR code right here. But definitely fill out this form by February 22nd, which I believe is next Monday. And then we will try to get you on the committee as soon as possible, probably by the end of that week, because we want to make sure that you guys are able to have a substantial amount of time to get involved and contribute whatever you want to contribute. So we're also going to be sending this out, I believe, in the email. I was sent in the email actually that was sent out on Tuesday, and we can send it again in the group meet as well. I'm going to move on in 1 minute just to give everyone a chance to scan. Okay. And so this is, if you are still interested in AMAC, so this year, the theme is Rooted in Excellence, Redefining Obstacles as Opportunities to Transcend. It's from April 1st to April 4th. It's completely remote. And so if you are still interested, please fill out this form because we got some extra grant money, so we were able to fund a few more people to send. And so it's a really great opportunity, especially if you are a junior or senior, to attend AMAC. I highly recommend it. It was really great. So scan this QR code and fill out the form if you're still interested. I'm also going to stay on this slide for 1 minute. Okay, I'm gonna move forward. So definitely join our group me. We really post a lot and we're really active on the group me. It's a community where people who have any questions about pre-med, any questions about classes, like literally any question you have, you can just send it in that group me and someone will respond to you. So it's really a great community to have and a great resource to have. So definitely join. You can scan this QR code or go to this link. I will also leave this on for a minute just to give you guys time to join. Okay. Oh gosh. Oh, okay. And we also are piloting an SNMA mentorship program. So we are looking for interest for who would want to be paired up with a mentor. So if you want a mentor from SNMA at Johns Hopkins Medicine, definitely scan that QR code or go to the link and fill out this Google form because we are going to soon match you guys with mentors. So please, if you are interested, this is going to be probably our last chance to fill out the form. So definitely fill it out. Please don't forget. I am going to leave this on also for another minute just so that people can go. But basically, you're going to be paired up with a med student and they're going to guide you through whatever questions you have. You're probably going to end up meeting with them once a month just to talk about anything, any updates in your life, anything that you need help with. And we really want, like, having a mentor is really beneficial in college, especially if you're on a pre-professional track. So we definitely want to provide that for you guys because the medical school application process is not easy. So it's definitely
Also, I got a question. So someone asked like if we should fill it out, like if they should fill it out again because there was a form sent out last semester. Yeah, this is like a follow-up to that so that we can ensure that the people who filled it out last semester are still interested in having a mentor, and some clarification as to what type of mentor they would have. Like after we met with the med students, we saw that like you might get a mentor that might not be underrepresented in medicine. And so we just, this form essentially is like a clarification form. And so definitely fill it out if you're still interested in getting a mentor.
Yeah, and the deadline for this one is February. I mean, this Friday, like at 11:59 p.m. But just fill it out as soon as possible, please. Thank you.
So what are your next steps? So definitely fill out the committee interest form. If you are not a member of our organization on campus groups, please go to campus groups and request membership because that's how we get our email list. So if you want to be on our email list, you have to be a member of our group on campus groups. Join our group me and please, please, please follow us on social media. We're trying to be really active on Instagram. And so we would love to connect with you guys more on that platform. Okay, and so I'm going to, so like the next part of our GBM today was just about being pre-med at Hopkins. We just wanted to open the floor for if you guys had any questions, you can ask your questions anonymously and using this QR code or this link. And yeah, we just want to give you guys a forum to just like ask any questions you have, like literally any questions. One of us has probably gone through it, so or probably knows the answer. So definitely like feel free to ask questions. And if you want, you could also ask questions in the chat. We just thought like it might be easier for you guys to ask anonymously. But yeah. Oh,
There's one question.
okay.
Um,
Can I stop sharing?
yes. Actually, if you click the moderator link on that slide, you
Yeah.
can see the questions that are coming in.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, these are great questions, guys.
Oh, they are good questions. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get it on. Okay, I found the questions. So I got a question. What do you think is the best way to study for the MCAT? So as I said, we are actually doing an MCAT. What I wish I knew before taking the MCAT, GBM. So definitely check that out. That right now is scheduled to be on March 6th at 4 p.m. So that's a Saturday. But just to give a quick brief answer to your question, the best way to study for the MCAT is definitely to take time. Like it is a test that just, at the end of the day, it just requires time. And split your studying into doing content review, a lot of practice, and then you start your full length exams. I'll be going into detail more on during that event about what resources would be best to use. But yeah, just definitely starting early, creating a good schedule, sticking to your schedule, and doing it at a time of your life where your mental health is like good. You know what I mean? Like you want to be in a good headspace because MCAT is really hard. Like, and it's even harder to do if your mental health is not where it needs to be. So definitely just try to get that going on. And also, if you ever have any more questions and you can't make the event, you could always like message me or DM me or email us, like, and I can meet with you individually. Like, I don't mind. If you were a freshman again, what do you wish you knew? What do you wish you would? What do you wish you knew as a pre-med? Sorry.
I like this question. I just have a bunch of stuff because freshman year they kind of just like throw you in here. They're just like, okay, get your little A's for med school. But okay, so I'm MolCell, so I can tell you specifically for MolCell. Class advice: go to office hours. Even if you know what's going on, go to office hours anyway, because you'll learn so many things in office hours, and you also meet people that are in the class. In every class that you feel like, actually in every class, just have at least one person's contact info, because if you have questions about like homework or exams or just want to go over concepts, you can talk to them. So at least one person, every class, guys. Even if you like don't know anybody, just like reach out to somebody you feel like looks nice and like, hey, we can be study buddies. We're all in this together. Another thing, also, if you're struggling, never struggle alone. You don't want to do that. I was one of those people freshman year from high school. Like I was like, oh, school is easy. I don't need people. Like I can study alone. Never struggle alone. So like I said, with a study buddy, like contact one person or even office hours, just always make sure you know like the things you're learning. Because especially with like a lot of also classes like genetics and cell bio, like you can memorize everything and you get that exam and it's all application. Like you got to know this stuff inside and out. So I guess key takeaways. What else? I don't know. If stuff comes back to me, I'll start talking again. But basically, go to office hours, reach out to your professor if you're struggling, or like the TAs. If you're in a class like calc or physics, get in pilot. If you don't get a pilot, know some people in pilot that can share the problem sets with you and stuff, or go to. What else am I saying? Always know one person in your class so you can consult them. Also, rewatching lectures might seem like a lot of work, but it does help because I don't know, I feel like I zone out in class sometimes. I'm just like, and rewatching stuff, I'm like, oh, I missed that. But that does help. It's time consuming though. And what else? YouTube can be your best friend with people that like teach classes on YouTube. Like YouTube has a bunch of little professors. You can look on those. And yeah, I'll probably have more. Sorry, I'm talking a lot, but there's a lot I wish I knew, trust me. And if you have any other questions, you can hit me up, IG, group me, whatever, email. I look at it all.
Does
Oh yes, what Monica said, the organic chemistry tutor. Highly recommend. And for physics, Michael Van Biesen. Leah Forsai, yes, Leah Forsai for Orgo 1 is great. Orgo, the beginning of Orgo 2 also. All these resources online, definitely. And the whole thing with finding people in your classes, I definitely second that heavily. And I am actually struggling with that right now because like I'm in a class that's really small and I don't know a single person in the class. And we had an assignment and I found out that the diagnosis that I made for like the assignment was completely off and everybody in the class got it right. And but like had I just like messaged someone in the class, like I could have actually collaborated and like talked about this stuff. So definitely reach out to people in the class, even if it's as simple as like, you know, working on an assignment together or having a question and then starting and then like carrying the conversation on from there. Highly recommend it.
Okay. Our second question is, how do you prioritize self-care as a pre-med student? Does anyone want to take this? Okay, I can start. I think actually it is definitely something that I struggle with. Like, but I don't recommend. I definitely think another advice as that I would give everyone is to definitely prioritize your self-care and your well-being. I'm just the type of person where like sometimes if I'm not doing work, like if I'm doing self-care, I sort of feel bad about it. I'm like, oh well, I could be more productive right now. I should be like doing this homework assignment that's due like next Monday. And just like that's the kind of person I am. But it definitely like over time it really takes a toll on you if you're not prioritizing your self-care. Like you may not notice it in the moment, but you'll notice over time that you're just like honestly unhappy. Like you're more and more unhappy as like the days go on and you're just like, but why? So definitely take time for yourself. Like Friday nights, like you just worked for the whole week. Like take Friday nights, you know what I mean? Relax, hang out with your friends, like do what you need to do. Some things I do, like I love doing face masks. It's very random, but I really like doing that. I love curling my hair. And just like getting like looking nice, I guess. I love hanging out with my friends and just like doing game nights or doing like any just like random, just even sometimes just talking or watching a movie. So I definitely think that you guys should prioritize your self-care because it's really important. Even on the weekends too. Like I take Saturdays off, and I've done that like all my 4 years because I just cannot do it.
Yeah, just echoing what Kelly was talking about. Like balance, especially at Hopkins, is so important. Like when Brody was open, I know you guys have yet, if you're a freshman, you have yet to experience Brody, but I would be in Brody 24/7. Like Brody was my second home and there was no balance, guys. And that is bad. So essentially, I feel like because Hopkins has a lot of clubs to offer and there's just so much to get involved in. So here's like something I heard like a YouTuber say or some like pre-med person on TikTok, and I was like, that's smart. So you should want one like organization that you get paid from because you need money, because we're all broke college students, you need money. And then a second organization that you can give back to the community because community service is really important. A third organization that kind of helps you get exposure, I guess I guess you guys are all pre-med, like into the medical field, whether it's like research or at a wet lab or clinical, you want exposure just because that helps and it helps you figure out what you want to do. I feel like I'm forgetting one. Oh, and one that's just like fun for you. Like just have a little fun. I should really type all this information out. I feel like I've learned a lot over these past 4 years, but yeah, essentially you want something that pays, something you can give back to the community, something that helps you get further along in your field, and something you enjoy doing. So that's 4 things. You guys don't need over 4 things. Don't overexert yourself. It is very stressful. Like don't spread yourself thin. Live a balanced life, guys. It's okay.
Our next question is any advice on what we should do as freshmen to prepare for medical school and enhance your resume? So first off, do not feel stressed. I don't know who asked this question, but I sort of feel like maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, and you do not need to feel overwhelmed. You have 4 years. I think that freshman year is really important to make sure that you create a good foundation for yourself. If you need to focus on your classes, focus on your classes, because if you don't, like, you're going to be making up for that for the next 4 years. So definitely just like create a good foundation. And something that I actually advise people a lot is just like when you're thinking about your resume, do what you love. Like, obviously, there are certain things you need to do for medical school. I'm not going to sit here and like lie to you guys. Like, they do like to see research. They do like to see that you do community service. They do like to see that you are volunteering in a clinical, like a hospital or whatever. So, like, but if you can take those experiences and translate them to something you love, like let's say you don't really love research, but you love like clinical research, for instance, like do clinical research, you know what I mean? Just like really just do what you're passionate about. Because right now I'm in the process of doing the committee letter application, which you do when you're applying. And you have to write essays on your meaningful activities. So you need to like every activity you do, you need to be able to describe like why that was important to you. You need to be able to sit there and tell your story about like how that impacted your life. And if you're doing something that you don't really love, you're not going to really be able to tell that in an authentic, genuine way. So that's kind of what I would say. And just like, I think freshman year would be good to start off and like trying to figure out really what you love to do, you know, like try out some volunteering clubs, try out different things to sort of like see where does your passion lie, and then so that you can start building your story for why you want to go to medical school.
I just thought of another like answer. Like I said, it would come back to me for what I wish I knew as a freshman. LOL, back again. But definitely look at the Coursevalves. You can literally Google JHU Coursevalves when you pick like some upper levels. Like I'm also for bio, like sophomore year, you're kind of just thrown in there. And definitely look at Coursevalves. You don't want to be in a class that's like a 3.2. You do not want that. And talk to like upperclassmen that are also in your major for good ones, because those could save you. Like don't work harder, work smarter, guys. Like we can all get it. Like it's fine.
Also, in regards to classes, also ask like upperclassmen and ask people you know for like the easiest upper levels or like easy classes or easy professors to take. That was definitely really helpful for me because there are some professors that are just like mean and don't take them if you don't have to. Okay. How do you focus on yourself without consistently comparing yourself to others? Wow, what a great question. That is definitely very difficult. I understand where that question is coming from completely, especially at Hopkins. Like this school is really it's just filled with like a lot of go-getters, which is amazing, but it definitely can be overwhelming at times. And then like the one thing I will say is like everyone is on their own path, which I know is hard to like internalize, but everyone truly is on their own path and like everything works out how it's meant to work out. And so I know that like it's hard not to compare yourself to others, but like where you may have weaknesses and someone else has strengths, like you also have strengths that other people don't have. Like all of us are unique individuals that are bringing like something unique to the table that like med schools want, you know? So it's just about like believing in yourself. And I would definitely say like, you know, I think in this process, I'm sort of in this journey of self-love. So you're catching me at a sort of an interesting time in my life, but I truly believe that we all have to like love ourselves and believe that we are boss people. And just like, yeah, just like believing in yourself and knowing that you are like an accomplished person and you deserve to be here just as much as anyone else.
I have one thing. Oh, sorry, Tempest, you go.
No, I didn't. I was just gonna say anybody else wants to add, because I feel like me and Kelly are talking, and I know everybody here is knowledgeable and has things to add. So please feel free. We don't have to dominate this. Like this is for everyone.
Okay, so over intercession, I actually took a class about like resilience, and so like one thing that we actually like really discussed a lot in the course was like talking about how like people, especially people of color, tend to go through a lot more events in their lives that are like maybe traumatizing or like have a strong effect on their lives, and so we tend to like think it's normal and that like we don't recognize our accomplishments. So like one thing that I like to do is compare myself to where I was like a year ago or maybe 2 years ago and like see my progress from there rather than comparing myself to other people who are in like the same stage. So like that's definitely like one thing. And also like recognize like you've done a lot, like even getting into Hopkins in itself is like a huge accomplishment. So like sometimes if I'm feeling like super low, like it's definitely nice to reminisce.
Okay. Sorry. That was great. I totally agreed with that, Evan. That was amazing. Our next question is, how do you ask for a letter of recommendation for graduate school, or I guess any other recommendation? The letters of recommendation are very interesting. The best method I have thought about, or something that I do actually is like so if you're getting a letter of recommendation for graduate school, you probably wouldn't be looking for one until you're like a junior or a senior, I assume. And if you are, a lot of things that I like to do is in the beginning of the semester, I try to think about like, who would I want a recommendation from? And once I figure that out, I definitely like stay after class and talk to them, or I'll go to office hours. Even if like you could go to office hours and ask a question that you know the answer to. It's just to demonstrate that you are learning. And another thing that's really helpful actually is if you guys can become a TA, this is so random, but just like if you can become a TA, I would recommend it because a lot of TAs are like paid positions. So not only are you like fulfilling your letter of recommendation, but you are also getting paid. So definitely look into that. I'm a biolab TA and I would highly recommend it. Dr. Perlman is so nice. The bio department pays very well. So definitely do that. And then also small class sizes. So if you have a small class size, it's like the best opportunity to get to know your professors. So definitely like put more work into that. Don't like slack off and like do try to participate and stuff so that they'll know you. And once they like know you and like you, usually they always say yes to writing your recommendation. Does anyone have anything else to add?
Yeah, I have something small. I'm like definitely not even close to that process yet, but like applying for internships, I guess, is kind of similar, like on a smaller scale. And like one thing I recommend is asking around to other students who've had that professor, because sometimes I've heard of like professors who send stuff in like the day of or like a few minutes before. So like if you don't want to risk it on something that big, like definitely ask around.
Yeah, no, that was great advice. What are the best ways you've learned to connect with professionals / physicians in your field of interest? I don't know if I can give a great answer to this. The way I've connected with professionals and physicians is honestly through like I shadowed, like I did a program, like a program that was like had shadowing in it. And so that was how I was able to meet a lot of people. And then I met my mentor through like another internship, and then through like organizations like us where like we bring in health professionals in our panels and stuff, and that's how I've met them. Has anyone else met them? I feel like I've always met them in a more established like program.
Yeah, so I worked in the OB-GYN department for the last 2 years. So that's how I got to know like the director of the OB-GYN department at Hopkins. So I worked there. I applied on student employment, got the job, and then I was meeting like nurses and physicians and stuff. So sometimes it's through where you work. Like Kelly said, you can do a formal program. There's a lot of summer programs for minorities, or they'll put you in contact with physicians and you'll like shadow. Like I think the double AMC has a summer program database, so you can kind of build your network that way. But there's a lot of formal programs. Sometimes it's just like your doctor and you like ask on my chart, like, hey, do you know any physicians to shadow? And they might reply, they might not. Just shoot your shot, honestly.
Okay. Okay, how much do you think pass failing chem, calc, and bio last semester will affect how I look as an applicant? I definitely think that you should reach out to the pre-prof office and discuss your options, because I just like real talk, I know that they don't love pass failing pre-med requirements. So I definitely recommend like going to the pre-prof office and seeing if what they think about it, and they might want you to take maybe extra upper level bios or something to make up for that. But yeah, I definitely think you should reach out to the pre-prof advising office. And if you need help on trying to make an appointment with that, you can let us know or email us and we can guide you on how to do that as well. As a pre-med, how do you know when you are ready to apply or if you should take a gap year? What a question. I actually knew from when I was a freshman that I wanted to take a gap year, and I had a few reasons why. One, I just turned 21. I didn't want to be going in med school when I was 21. That just like did not sit well with me. I just wanted like some time to enjoy my life and like have a real job, travel, and like just do things for fun, honestly. My second reason was if you are not taking a gap year, if you are going straight through, you need to have your MCAT done by your junior year of college. And you basically, your resume stops at your junior year because you're applying your junior year of college. And that I really wanted like my senior year activities to count, and I wanted to take my MCAT later. And I think the MCAT honestly pushes a lot of people to take gap years. Does anyone else have anything to add? Okay. But also, sorry, but you should definitely meet with also, this is so random, but everyone on this chat, you should meet with the pre-prof office at least like basically once a semester. I know that like it seems weird that I'm telling you this, but definitely meet with them once a semester just so they get to know your face. Miss Sneidman, she's the best. Meet with her. And once you meet with them, ask them every time you meet with them, ask them, what do I need to do? What is there left to do? Because they sort of forget to tell you that you need things until you're ready to apply. And you don't want to be in that situation. I've had friends in that situation and they actually had to take an extra gap year because they just didn't know they had to take these classes. So definitely like ask them, am I at the right spot? What do I need to do? What volunteering do I need to do? Is there any more classes I need to take? Like just ask them these questions because they don't really tell you unless you ask. Yeah.
Yeah, just to answer about the gap year question, I remember freshman year I came in and I was like, oh, yep, I'm gonna do the little 4 years at Hopkins, go straight into med school. But that is so exhausting. And there's really no rush. Like you can just do what you need to do here, take like a year off, make some money because med school is expensive, get extra experience, like do whatever you want to do. Like I know there's a lot of pressure, especially if you're just coming in, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go straight into med school, but it's fine. Just do what works for you, you know? Also, I see a lot of seniors in here. You guys aren't speaking. I know you have knowledge, so feel free to speak if you want to. You with your camera on, feel free.
Yeah, I'm a senior. I can I can speak a little bit since I'm applying this cycle too. I too didn't want to take a gap year when I first came to Hopkins, but it's possible not to take one. You just have to have your ducks in order, I would say, and it's just a lot of things can throw it off, and it's doable. You just have to be able to finish all the prereqs, and just with the structure of Hopkins, it's not very conducive. Like according to pre-prof, 80% of our students take a gap year, and it's just because like biochem is very heavy on the MCAT, and most people, unless you take orgo during the summer, take that their junior year. So that would automatically kind of force you to take a gap year there. And then just with the rigor of Hopkins, it's hard to do all the classes and then the volunteer and the clinical, and that can become very overwhelming very quickly. And so that's why a lot of people advocate for it now. But if you a boss like that, you can do all that and not take one if you want to.
Okay, when did y'all start research? Is there a time that is too late? It is never too late. Well, I mean, you should start it before you apply. But I started mine my freshman spring, but I'm a neuroscience major, so we actually need 6 credits of research and 9 credits of research if we want honors. So just the neuro track just makes you do research. But in general, I know people who apply to med school and started research their junior year. I think like when it comes to research, it's not about like when you do it, it's about like what you do with it. You want to have like, it's all about like doing a project, presenting your project, like, and technically a project, you could finish a project in a semester. Like I finished my project in a semester. So it really doesn't matter like when, it's not about time. Like I know people who have done research for 5 years and honestly have nothing to show for it. Like they just like, they didn't like put their all into it, I think. And it just like, maybe they like their project didn't work out. I don't know. But I also know people who did research for even less, like only a year, and like really made the most of that experience. So definitely just, that's what I would say. But if your major requires it or something, just check that to make sure that you will finish your requirements before you graduate.
Yeah, MoSel I think also requires 6. I'm pretty sure it requires 6. I don't know, pretty sure. But also just don't fall like research opportunities. Like we go to research university. Research is all around you. So make sure you do your research on the research you get the opportunity to do or that you're interested in, because I do tissue culture at the Eye Institute, and tissue culture is very time consuming. Like I was literally in the lab until like 9 p.m. on a Friday. And I was like, literally like, what's going on? And I had no idea that it would be so strenuous. I was in the lab like 4 times a week. It's just a lot. So make sure you do research on the research you want to do or the research that's like presented to you. Because I got my research through Chioma, who's also in here. Chioma is the queen of finding research, even though she's not pre-med. So if she wants to talk, she can speak to you how she found hers.
Yeah, I guess I could talk. So research at Hopkins is really easy to find, and I think, in my opinion, I think you just need to ask around because like freshman year, I got research just because like I asked around on campus and there was like somebody who was leaving a lab and transitioning. So like transitioning labs will usually have research. Yeah, will usually have like research or have open positions that you want to fill up. But like if you're really interested in doing something, you can literally just ask, and labs are really willing to like let students tour places. So they'll probably give you a tour and then probably email you back a few months later like, oh, there's this position opening. So I think just being willing to ask around or ask people that you know for research is really helpful.
Also, another thing, on the student employment website, there's always research assistant like jobs open. So also look at that because that's how I found my second like research I did.
Also, I think now that, oh, sorry.
You can go, Kelly.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, now I think they're transitioning to this platform called Forger One. And I know the Pre-Prof office just hosted a how to find research session. So if you guys couldn't attend that, I would definitely recommend emailing them, asking for the recording because I do that all the time because I can't attend a lot of their events. And usually they're very like willing to give the recording. And yeah, so I don't actually know how to use Forger One, but I definitely recommend looking into it because I think it's a great platform. I just don't know how to use it because it came out our like sophomore year or something or junior year. So
Also, I have another question that was messaged to me, and it's basically like, what do you do if a professor or professional is like ignoring you and you're trying to build a connection with them and they don't like reply to you? So that will happen a lot, guys. That especially with Hopkins professors because they're so busy. Like a lot of them, like most of professors, they do their own research, run their own labs, like have families. So it's a lot of work, but basically, I don't know, I'm really annoying. So I'll email like multiple times. And if they don't reply, I'll like show up to their office like during office hours, or I'll try to make an appointment, or I'll like ask the TAs like when they're free. Like, I don't know, I guess just be annoying if you like have questions about like a class, or if you want to build a connection with them, I would say don't force the connection just because they might be annoyed and like be less willing to help you if you kind of force it. But if it's for like academic help, like be annoying, that's your grade. It's literally their job to teach you, even though they have a lot of stuff going on. They can at least like point you in the right direction of who to ask, like the TA or somebody else. But yeah, just be persistent.
And if it's like in terms of research, like I had a friend who like messaged somebody, or like emailed a PI and they didn't respond. And she just literally showed up at his office and was like, hey, I emailed you and I'm interested in a position. And he literally gave it to her. So sometimes like if things are like do return back to in person, it's as simple as like, I mean, well, maybe like do it like nicely, just like show up like politely and like be like, oh, hi, I'm like interested in your lab. But that option is also out there, like trying to just meet in person. Once that option is available.
Also for research, if you're like interested in something and you want to like get their attention, read their publications, like butter them up a bit, like be like, I've read your work, I love what you do, it's just so important. Read their publications so you can like converse with them about it. And also if you know somebody that previously worked the position, like kind of mention their name, be like, oh yeah, so and so told me you do this and that. So it's kind of just like building that rapport, and it makes a good first impression, especially if you have other people also looking at the lab position.
Okay. What's the best / easiest way to go about finding internships and volunteer work / research? So I think this is a very loaded question, but the best way, so it depends on what you're looking for. So if you're looking for doing research in your local town where you're from, I would recommend like going onto your like university's website, like whatever universities in your local region. So like for me, I'm from New York City, so I went to NYU's website and like looking for internships there, because usually like universities have their own internships that pre-meds can do. If you're looking for Hopkins has volunteering at their hospital and other neighboring hospitals. So definitely like recommend reaching out. Like you're here, so obviously you kind of like did the first step of like joining a pre-med organization and reaching out to people to see what they're doing and like just figuring out how you can do that. Like that's honestly how I like do it a lot of the time. Like, well, this person did this, I would be interested in that, so let me do that. And let me reach out to that person. Hopkins also has a lot of clubs and organizations, so definitely go to the club fairs, see what you like, and join clubs. And for research, we sort of touched upon that, but use Forager One. Ask other people like what they're doing, if they have openings in their lab. If you have professors who you're interested in their research, ask them after class. Yeah.
Yeah, just to add on to everything Kelly said, definitely join clubs and orgs. Me and Kevin are in Alpha Phi Omega, which is the service frat. So we work with a bunch of nonprofits around the Baltimore area, and it also helps you like see Baltimore that you don't see on campus. So it's really nice. So you can look into service organizations because there's a bunch of them on campus. Definitely talk to other students and see what clubs they're like interested in or they're already involved in and stuff. Because there's, like I said, there's a bunch of service orgs on campus. As far as research, like Kelly said, Forager One. Also, like what she said about reaching out to a local school, like if you're home for the summer and you want to do research. I reached out to this random professor I found at Emory, and because I wanted lab experience and I didn't have any, so I reached out to her like summer after freshman year, and she replied back to me and she let me work in their lab for like 2 months, and I had no experience. I was just like, hey, I go to Hopkins, here's my resume, don't know how to do anything, can I work in your lab? And she was like, oh yeah, sure. And it was like a yeast lab, it was nice, did a lot of agar plates. But just reaching out to people is the first step, honestly. What else was I saying? Student employment, guys. Student employment, you'll have to apply so you have more competition, but it's a great, like, they have everything on there. It's so good. But yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I would emphasize that too. I've been working for student employment for 4 years, so we get a lot of these positions all the time, and something to emphasize too is that like even though it's like said in like business and everything else, like networking is still a big thing in pre-med. That's the end all be all. You know, you gotta make friends with seniors and stuff, because positions like PIs are old. They're like 80 years old. They're not, and there's Hopkins students who come to them every single day, so they're gonna believe word of mouth way more. They're gonna believe somebody's resume. Like everyone can code in R, blah blah blah, but like if you're not weird and you're cool, like they're gonna like you then. And that's really how you get jobs. Because just sending resumes left and right, you might get one, but like knowing somebody is gonna be your best bet. And it's the easiest one too. So just all it requires, attend a BSU meeting or a MAPS meeting every so often.
And like in terms of research, I feel like what a lot of people also do is they try and apply for like research grants, so like Pura, Dura, like all these other things, because then once you have like money backed by the type of research you're trying to do, like once you actually go about emailing the PIs, which is what I did, like I first got the Woodrow Wilson Award, then emailed PIs, like it makes it easier because then they will already, like you're kind of a step ahead, like they're already going to know that what you're doing is going to benefit them and also benefit you. And so like you'll be in that whole, like you're more likely to get into a lab that you want. And then like also on top of that, like sometimes you can get like internship and fellowship and all these other experiences like through the orgs that you're in. Like so I'm in Hopkins Community Connections, which is well, this semester we're operating virtually, but it is a clinical experience, and it's volunteering. But I completed, I did a fellowship this summer and I did an internship through them too, also in the winter last year. So like definitely you can like find additional opportunities through stuff that you're already doing. Like you can just like, as long as you like further it along, because like quantity or quality is better than quantity. So like definitely like find something, like stick to it and see how you can develop that further.
Yeah, also like I feel like when I came to Hopkins, I had an idea about what I wanted to do. It was just a matter of like finding the opportunities. So like I knew I was like really interested in community service. So like I just went to the CSC, the Center for Social Concern, and just like saw what they had to offer me. So definitely, if you have an idea of what you want to do, just like scroll the websites, like try to look online because they do have a lot of resources online. And the last question is, what is your motivation that keeps you going when pre-med gets tough? This is a really interesting question, especially to ask right now. I've been feeling like, especially during COVID times, like everything's remote and it's sort of hard to like remember why you're doing this because you're like not interacting with patients every day. You're not like, uh, yeah, you just feel so like disconnected. And so it's really important, I think, to sort of like do small things that like remind me about why I'm doing this and what pushes me. Like for me, I like love working in the Baltimore community. So just like being on Zoom with like someone from the community or just like talking to someone really reminds me about like what my goal in life is to do and like what I'm here to do. So yeah, just finding ways to like still keep involved somehow. And I think that's why it's really good to have a work-life balance. Like don't always do school, definitely like do clubs, do experiences that will actually push you to be a better person and push you to have a lot of personal growth. Yeah.
I love this question. I love this question because it is really important. Like, Orgo, it's going to be tough. You know, you have to remember why you're even pre-med. Like, why even do this? I can make money being like a software engineer straight out the gate. I don't have to go to med school, don't have to get in debt or whatever. But I think for me personally, it's just like knowing and educating myself on all the disparities of it in healthcare. If I can in any way change that and make people's experience more positive, that's what I want to do. And it's like what was I supposed to say again? I don't know. It's just, for me, it's really important that whatever I do in my career, I'm making a positive difference in my community. So I think it just really keeps me going. Like this is just a temporary stop and a long journey, you know. Hopefully you just make a difference in at least one person's life. That's my thing.
And I feel like it's like important to like also do some like self-reflection as to like why you're pre-med to begin with. So like for me, I mean, I'll be open about the reason why. So for me, my uncle passed away because he had diabetes, which is something that is like essentially like curable and treatable in the United States, but he was living in Eritrea at the time, where like there isn't as much developed healthcare there. And so like for me, my long-term goal is to try and develop the healthcare system there and contribute to it, and like also like in terms of administration and stuff. And so I'd say like find what it is that like drives you to be pre-med, and like do a lot of self-reflection as to why you're doing what you're doing. Because like if it's money, I think you should definitely, like, money should not be the only, I mean, shouldn't be the only factor. I'm gonna say that. Definitely there has to be more depth as to why you want to do pre-med, because it's tough. It's a lot. And you really have to have a good reason for you to continue on to do it.
Yeah, and something I like heard in a TED talk once is like when you're younger, they always ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And that's actually not a great question. Like you shouldn't, it's like not the best question to ask, like what you want to be when you grow up, but the better question to ask yourself is what you want to do when you grow up. Like what is it that, what impact do you want to make in this world when you get older? And it's just a matter, like college is just like a matter of finding how to do it. It's just like, how can you achieve the goal that you have? So yeah. Does anyone else have anything to add?
I can add something. Yeah, I think a lot of doubts occur when you're in pre-med, and a big thing is that like a lot of people are like, oh, I want to be like, you see like software engineers, you see all your friends working at Google and FANG companies, or like going to Goldman Sachs. But I think it's really easy to get caught up on the grass is green on the other side. You know, you got people who like that stuff and who are good at this stuff, but for pre-meds, it's kind of like a calling in a way. Is that like, you know, you don't like like a lot of pre-meds are not, I mean, they're scientifically inclined, but not enough to do AMS and do like differential equations every day. And so you got to see like your own talents. And then you also have to see like the positives too. It's like, yeah, like there's all the intrinsic motivation, but there's also benefits other than that. So it's like you can be I don't know, you could be a software engineer at Google, and like that's cool, but like that's not a doctor. Like when you go to your families and like they say like, oh, what are you? You're not gonna be like, oh, I work at Facebook. You'll be like, I'm a doctor. I'm a rheumatologist. And then like that's cool. And it's like that you don't make that your only motivation, but like that you have to think there's a social aspect to it too, and there's also of course like the monetary one and the intrinsic one. So you just have to be able to balance what do you want in life? Like, do you want prestige? Do you want people to call you a doctor, or do you want like to work at Google? So
I love that. But yeah, definitely like being honest with your intentions. That's actually like something that is not done enough, I think. But you really should be honest with like, why are you doing this, you know? And it's okay if the answer is money or if it's prestige or whatever it is. Like, I think people look down on that a lot. It's totally okay to like, if that is your reason. But just being honest with yourself is the most important thing. So that was all the questions I had. It's 9:36. Sorry for keeping you guys 6 minutes earlier. But thank you all for coming. Be sure to follow us on our socials, join the GroupMe, fill out the SNMA mentorship form. If you're interested in going to AMAC, please fill out the AMAC form and stay tuned for the suturing kit form where we're going to ask you for your addresses so that we can mail you guys a suturing kit if you're interested in the event. Thank you all for coming today, and stay tuned for our next event, which will be the What I Wish I Knew About the MCAT, which will be on March 6th, the Saturday of first week of March. Yeah, so thank you. And if you guys have any questions, you guys could stay on and ask us. But yeah, thank you all for coming.